Are you concerned about all this corruption being rebranded as conspiracy theory? Well, don't you worry. Sit back and relax and join in the conversation with today's guest. Welcome to another LSB Film Productions podcast with your host, Chris Brooks.
Hello, welcome to the channel. It's me, Chris Brooks, for another LSB Film podcast. Today I am back with the wonderful David. How are you, David?
I'm all right, mate. It's all the others, isn't it?
And it's all their fault. David and we're going to discuss the recent success, which has kind of just taken off, really, with the Private Members Association. And yeah, I think it's exciting times. It's interesting to see where this is going to go. So without further ado, I'm going to shut up talking and I'm going to pass you over to David so he can talk some more. Welcome to the show, David.
Welcome, Chris. Listen, it was great the first time we did this. I really enjoyed it, which was probably a couple of months ago. And bless you, you messaged me a few weeks ago, but I lost my dad in October and I weren't really sort of ready. But now I feel chipper again and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Well, first of all, sorry for the loss of your dad.
Oh, bless you. Yeah, it's tough. It's been tough. It's been tough. So, yeah, what sort of motivated me? Well, we sort of covered the Sanctuary Private Members Association a bit in the first podcast. That's what it was predominantly about. But then we always get sidetracked into these other little niches, which is fabulous because then people just get a general overview of where we are as a country and as a nation and as a people. So the Sanctuary, we started a few months ago now, probably two and a bit months. And we just reached on Easter Sunday, 2,000 members, which is quite significant.
Well done.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. And everyone's getting involved. They're taking part. They're downloading the files. They're keeping them on their hard drives. They're actually now getting out and using this stuff, which is amazing. And so that is very, very empowering. And we, as the administrators of that, we try our hardest to answer as many questions as we can. But at the end of the day, it's for people have got to be proactive. They've got to take part. This is how we change this country. If we can start pulling together in huge numbers of people and start shifting and moving away from the mainstream and creating our own systems that actually benefit the people and where the people are the ones that have the say. And I'm going to run you through a few of these things that we've got in mind today. Now, when we get to 2,500 members, we are going to start a website. Members are going to have to contribute. It won't be a lot. The website's going to be up and running. And then we're going to start introducing insurances and things like that, which can cover all sorts, from car insurance to home insurance to pet insurance. I'll give you an example. We got a couple of dogs. We love dogs. And people that have animals are absolutely being penalised right now. Because my missus said to me the other day, she went, I can't afford the dog insurance no more. And I'm like, well, why is that? She said, well, it's that they want double the premiums every month now, and I'm asking what I'm getting for it, and so we have to, as a people, everybody in this country, right? Most people you interview, they're all looking for solutions or they're bringing solutions, but they're bashing at a system that's already broken. I'm trying, after all these years of research, to actually think outside the box and create something for the people, by the people. That's what we're doing.
No, that's good. Have you got some keys on your lap or something? Or are you wearing a chain? Or
no, when you hear something,
I can just hear something that's constantly. It's okay. No.
What about now? Any better?
No, that's okay. Yeah, it's strange. I just thought you had some like keys or change or something on your lap.
No.
No. So is that going to be how difficult would that be then to set up insurance companies? Because do you not need to have like loads of collateral, loads of
see,
how does it work?
So then that's interesting because we've all been conditioned, every single one of us, to think how the system wants us to think. it like when you look at something like the Bank of Dave, he had a brilliant idea. He actually went with the mainstream. He went to the FCA, and the FCA said, "Look, you need to do this and you need to do that." And he managed it, and he managed it through all adversity. He did it, and fair play to Dave Fishwick. Um, but we don't have to, because what we've got is a private members association. So the members, because it's private and not public, they're going to be the ones that decide whether this works or it fails. That's up to them. I'm just the founder. We've got 8 trustees, 8 administrators. They're working tirelessly behind the scenes. We've got people that are donating databases and all sorts. And people actually saying, look, we want to take part in this. We want to set this up for the people. So the fact that you're saying, do we have to do this? Do we have collateral? We're doing this privately. Now, the car insurance, which we're going to start off with, will be just third party only. It'll be you damage your car, you damage someone else's car. That's it. It won't be no personal injury claims, nothing like that, because we need to start from the ground and then work up and evolve as we go. On that basis, if, let's say, the people will be the ones that decide, every single action will be put on the website. So let's say Bob, who lives in Doncaster, becomes a member, and he says, right, okay, I'm going to get this insurance and I'm going to pay £200 a year for third party. Now, if he comes along and says in 3 months' time, oh, I've had a smack up, I've wrote someone's car off, what will happen is we will say on that website, listen, Bob lives here. Which of our members is within a 1 or 2 mile radius? Please, can you go and quickly see Bob, have a cup of tea with him? Because this way, then we all get to know each other. Because we're all isolated in this country. We're all isolated. You ring up the AA, you don't know who these people are behind the scenes. Do you understand? So, and then
I really want it to work, and I'm sure in time it would work. The only reason why I say that is because I have followed this really successful YouTuber, and he has loads of millions of pounds worth of cars, and he got fed up because the insurance companies wouldn't insure this particular car. And so he looked into going through all the government stuff and setting up his own insurance company so we could bypass all that. And it was all the struggles that he came up against, which is why I said, how easy is it going to be? But I really do hope that it does work. I mean, I've seen some of the material that you're putting out now, and in fact, I've done a video on one of them, and I'd give a shout out to you guys. I will have to put a link to the Facebook, and this is why it'd be great to get a website. I'll have to put a link to the Facebook link in the video description. But yeah, I think what you've achieved so far is nothing short of outstanding.
Mate, honestly, I'm so pleased. I'm so chuffed. It's humble. It's earthy. It's got roots. My mum always said to me, even when I was a teenager, my mum said, David, she said, when you put your mind to say it and you wanted to do something, she said, you made it happen. She said, you just went out and made it happen. She said, no, I always admired you for that. So because we're private, nothing in the public can come and touch it. Private members associations are completely private. It's a member-based thing. It's like a rugby club, that's a private members association. You can't tell a rugby club what to do, how to look after its members. That's down to that club. It's the same.
Freemasons,
Freemasons are right. So the Freemasons are a private association. You can't go in and get involved in none of that. So the point is, the bigger this gets, and we grow with it. The co-op started somewhere, that come about from necessity. The cooperative was formed because people were struggling, so they decided to shift away. Now the co-op has been corporatized, but sadly
hijacked.
It has, pretty much everything has been hijacked. But within our constitution of our private members association, that can never happen. So whoever takes it over and keeps it going for however long. It could go for millennia, it could go for 10 years or just 2 years. We don't know.
No.
But at the end of the day, the foundation of it can never be changed on whoever pops along. So that's really, really good. But like we on the website, everything's going to be transparent. Everything's going to be transparent. Those few administrators that handle the day-to-day affairs, yeah, they might have a few quid, but it's going to be earthy. It's going to be honest. Now, a friend of mine that I know is a pilot, very distinguished pilot.
Can he tell you whether the Earth is round or whether the Earth is flat?
Well, we have these sort of discussions, and I'm not going to sort of bring that about tonight. He's sort of very coy about it. It's his job. But he said he took a phone call 2 weeks ago from a friend of his, and his friend was bragging. No, he's the director of an insurance company, and he was bragging that his bonus this year was £750,000. And yet my friend's going, hang on, I'm a pilot.
A year bonus,
a year bonus, 750 grand. And my friend who's a pilot was saying, so this is why my premiums keep going up and up and up to satisfy all of the greed. It's just greed. So the pilot himself, when I was telling him about what we've started, he said, once you get up and running, he said, I'm in.
That's good.
So, but this is a member-based thing. This is everybody that's a member that takes part in the website, that logs on, that gets on there, and we encourage every single one of them to do it. Every issue, every claim, it will be their decision as to who gets paid or they don't get paid. If so-and-so's been an idiot and the members say, no, actually, we don't agree with that, then it don't get paid and someone has to suffer because of their stupidity. One of the things we're going to be saying to everybody that we do insure or assure, we're trying to work the terminology out with the words, is that you don't be a numpty, that you act like a grown-up.
You have to remain in good standing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There's even honor amongst thieves. So you have to, there's a certain etiquette that you need to, you're a society, you're not an animal. So
yeah. Well, I've been on the roads in various forms for the last 40 years. I'll be 58 this year. I passed my test when I was 17, 18. So it'd be 41 years. I have never had a car accident that was my fault. I had someone pull out of a junction that hit me, okay, back in 1980, 86, 87, long time ago. But the reason why I've never had any accidents is because I don't travel like an idiot. I don't get out people's bums. I'm respectful. If I see a rabbit cross the road, I'll slow down and try and miss it. And I look out for others and I care for others. But there's so many people now that, I mean...
Are you a bike rider?
I bike ride. I've got velomobiles. I've got vans. I've got cars. I've got loads of stuff.
I always find that people that ride motorcycles, pardon me, always end up to be better car drivers because they use that experience.
I don't use motorbikes. I use high-powered e-bikes and road racing bikes.
It still hurt if you come off.
Oh, honestly, I've some of my racing bikes I can hit seriously fast speeds on. But yeah, so I'm road savvy. But even back when I was a youngster, my mum and dad taught me, listen, you can go out on the road now. Don't be an idiot. Be respectful. Look out for others. And because I've always had this common sense approach to it, this is why I've not had any accidents. The cars come past my house around. We live on a country lane. And some of the speeds, and there's a junction and I'm like, you're crazy. You're crazy. And everybody on the local village page is moaning about why are people traveling in these cars? It's not a racetrack. So we're breeding a nation of not idiots, but basically people that don't take responsibility for their own actions, Chris.
Yeah. Almost
simple.
Narcissists, just people who are out to please themselves. Really.
Yeah. And it is sad. So, but we in our Sanctuary Private Members Association, we keep trying to drum into people, be good, be decent, be nice, be part of something that has light behind it and not darkness. And if we continue with that ethos and that mindset, I just think the world's our oyster, mate. I really do. I really do.
No, well, that's good, and let's. It's nice watching it grow in real time.
It is. It
Yeah.
is. We got some great people in there sharing some great stories. I've been kind of harsh in the group. There's lots of people I know they want to get a message out, they want to share all their information, but I'm trying to keep that group on point so that it deals with points of law, videos that deal with points of law and private members association, so people can stay focused on what their intent is. Now, let's say, for instance, as a private. Yeah,
sorry, I was going to say, is it possible where you could have like a forum? So have what you're saying, because I understand completely why you would want that, have it focus driven, so everyone's on topic. But could you, I don't know how it works, but can you have another page so people can hang out there, so they can have like start conversations, so they can have, so they can still get, so they still have their voice, but it's not being bombarded on the main page where all the info is.
Cat, I mean, we can look into that, and hopefully
that's probably going to be better for like website as opposed to Facebook.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, the website is the ultimate goal, but I could have set it up a month ago with other people. You know, we've got web designers and we've got all sorts of people that are really coming to the table and saying, "Listen, we're in." But I thought this needs to get some momentum. We need to get lots of numbers really and just test the waters. And each day we're getting so many members want to join. They're coming in, they're sharing their stories. It's amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And it's the comments on there are generally really good, and people are excited. They're excited because now coming into full view is something that's tangible, something they can get behind, take part of, and that they can actually breathe a sigh of relief and try and get some control back in their lives.
Where are you finding most of the people that are joining the sanctuary? Are they like just waking up to what's going on? Have they got a bit of savvy behind them and they're just kind of doing this as the next step? Do you know where they are, or is it just a mixed bag?
It's a mix. So the group is really whether someone joins today. Let's say there's two people join today. One's a newbie, one's just woke up. Like, let's say COVID 19 woke them up, or they're angry with council tax, or whatever. Something's woke them up and something's prompted them to come and join. And then you've got someone that's been in awake for 15 years, but they both join at the same time. Within the Sanctuary Private Members Association is the content in the featured section, so that they can all go and get it, read it, download it, and start using it. So now they're on a. But I keep saying to them, it's you. This is for you. This ain't for me. This is for all of us. Start using it. Let's say if everyone in that sanctuary group today said, you know what, I'm fed up with the DVLA. It's time they go. We've all got a bone with the DVLA. And I've put in the last couple of days, I've put some fabulous stuff up in that group.
I think that is that's the video that I've shared. It's a DVLA and the right to travel freely.
Yeah.
That's the video I've done. DVLA scam. Yeah.
And did you mention the sanctuary group in that one? Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah, that's the one that I may not have said sanctuary. I may have just said PMA and mentioned you.
Right.
But yeah.
So if we all hit the DVLA, right? Let's say, I don't know, the DVLA start to get bombarded with all this stuff coming through their letterbox. They're going to go, oh my God. Oh my God. Now it's not just little old Bob and little Susie. Now it's the Sanctuary Private Members Association demanding that our rights, our natural rights, are respected. Now, in the law is there to secure our rights. It's not to admonish us and to charge us and to strip us. The law was to secure us so that we could be happy. all men are created equal, all free. We're not part of this corporate stuff unless we choose to be by consent. But then let's say the DVLA start getting all these hundreds and hundreds of letters, they don't take notice. Then all of a sudden we say, well, one day, hang on, let's go there. So 500 of the members turn up. We're all part of the same thing. We go to the DVLA's building and we say, right, here we go. We're not leaving until you take notice of this. This is the way we leverage them, and we leverage them with the members. The more people that come over to the Sanctuary Private Members Association, the more that use it, the more that understand it. Even if they don't understand it, if they start using the process of sending out their notices and making these phone calls, then the system is very swiftly going to go, oh my God, here we go.
The backlash has begun.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
So it's like I said, I think I said it in the last one as well. It's very much the same kind of effect as what a union was supposed to have had back in the day, where it's not just one employee shouting, it's the entire union shouting. No.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Let's say in a year's
sense.
time, there's 30,000 members. And that's not unachievable. The more the word gets out, and once the website gets up and running, people see, listen, the English, the Irish, Scots, Welsh, we love a carrot. We love a carrot dangling in front of our face. That's why we go to work. That's why we do this and we do what we want, because of that fact. Now, the Sanctuary Private Members Association, once the website's up and running, that's a dangling carrot, because now all of a sudden you can come together with all your other men and women in your country and take part in something and contribute to it that's going to take and ease a lot of your burdens. Job done. It's going to be for the people. This is for the people, by the people. It's get totally 110% transparent. If it weren't transparent, I don't want nothing to do with it. And nor do the trustees. The trustees know that the people need something like this. We really do.
How do you see it scaling up as it gets bigger, as the PMA grows and grows? Obviously, it's going to be a lot harder to maintain. And so, how? I don't know. Perhaps I'm learning to run before I walk. It's like, have you got like a goal in mind of, like, say, a figure of people that you would think that you would need as an organization? Not an organization, as a members association, to make such a big difference?
So, like I say, co-ops, insurance companies all started off with an idea in someone's head. AXA, Royal Sun Alliance, it all started off with someone's, actually, why don't we take the pain away from people, start something a bit earthy. This is how these things all started off quite a long time ago. The same with this Sanctuary Private Members Association. The idea came to my head, and within 2 months now, we've got 2,000 members. It's blown my mind. If in 2-3 years, we've got thousands and thousands and thousands of members, the actual member base isn't the problem, because the Constitution is set, it's done. The basis of the Constitution and the PMA structure is with the trustees. And when a trustee dies, another will be appointed by the members through the website. So it doesn't matter how many members that we've got, if they all come from the ethos of being decent, honourable, good people, and they want to take back control of their life, as soon as they see that benefit, that carrot, they're going to be out talking to their friends, their neighbours, the chip shop owner, the guy down the car centre who's struggling to pay all of these bits and bobs. And then that's when it's like an exodus. I see this as a bit of an exodus. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I'm glad you said about being honourable and stuff, because I was thinking, like, a lot of these members associations, you have to lay in a coffin naked whilst getting masturbated over. So I just wanted to rule that out. So that's good.
Well, it's funny you say that. I have been accused for years, because I've done all right in life and life treats me well, and I'm quite a light-hearted individual. Well, a man. I like the word individual. Everyone seems to be insistent that I'm in the Freemasons, and I'm not. And I've said to them, look, listen, if you believe I'm a Mason, tell me what lodge I'm in, I said, because you're talking nonsense. I said, because I'm telling you now, if I was a Freemason, I would tell you, but I'm not. I know Masons. I know several Masons. I know a grandmaster that lives up the road because I'm always out working for different people and I've got a big mouth. I talk to people. Now, the Masons, I was in Portugal a few years ago golfing with quite a few of my buddies, and my mate is he's a real big, strong fella, and we was having a few gin and tonics, and he's a senior a Freemason, and he said I can drive my sheep across the bridge in London. I went, oh blimey! I said, what got you into it? He said, my granddad. My granddad was a very high up senior Freemason. I went, all right, and I said to him, have you been through the risen ceremony? Because I know about the Knights Templar. I've been offered to join the Knights Templar, and I'm saying no, I'm not. I'll roll alone. I'm a creator. I want to create something great that's remembered. I don't want to go and join some other boys' club when I can start my own. But I said to my friend, did you go through the risen ceremony where they lay you in a coffin and stand you up? And he went, yeah. I said, do you know what that means? What does that signify ritualistically, spiritually?
Symbolically.
He said, I haven't got a clue. It's just something we do. And I'm like, oh my God, they don't have any idea of what they're getting involved in. It only comes down to people that research, that switch their brains on, that go, actually, let's look at the Masons, let's look at the Rotary Club, blah, 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 blah.
Well, this is
And
it. For the most part, with the Masons, the majority of the Masons are just businessmen, aren't they?
there you
Looking
go.
for a leg up in the business. It's not until you hit like the 33-degree Freemasonry where you realize, oh, actually, this isn't actually quite as charitable as we once thought. But for the most part, like we say, they just think that they're doing charitable work for good causes. They are tricked.
So like let's say you could be a football, you could be someone that plays for West Ham United or Man United, you could be a senior Freemason. Don't matter what organization you're part of, there should come a point, whatever it is you're taking part of, if that you're asked to do something that's morally reprehensible to you, you make a choice. You either go, well, actually, I'm going to stay and keep my mouth shut and tolerate this, or I'm going to walk away. For me, I can't do anything that's not moralistic because I think that your morals is something that you absolutely have to hold on to. So that's where I sit with that, you know.
Yeah.
Most of these people, like you say, they do join because they want to leg up in business and all these other things. And what's interesting about that triangular eye is that they call it the all-seeing eye. But the all-seeing eye is what they call the eye of providence. And it's a safe space to be because it's in the triangle. It's not outside with all the external noise. It's in. So you become the eye of providence in the middle and you bash all these triangles off. That's when you're winning.
Yeah.
And basically, the eye of providence is your higher spiritual connection.
That's it. The third eye, your whatever it is, your pineal gland. That's it.
Yeah.
But I do think the Masons are struggling a little bit though. And the only reason why I say that is because it always used to be by invite, or like you said, you know, somebody, your granddad or their granddad, and so you get initiated in that way. But now they're actually advertising it on social media. Become a Mason, become a Mason. So they're obviously struggling to keep what they've got.
It's there was a guy 6, 7, maybe 8 years ago down the road. He was in his 70s. I was putting a boiler in. I'm not going to say his name. He invited me. He said, come to one of our ladies' nights. Come. And he was trying to groom me to become a part of the Freemasons. He was telling me about how they paid for the air ambulance and all that. I said, look, I'm not interested. I said, but I'm interested in your stories and what you have to say about it. No problem. I've been invited in 3 or 4 times, but not for me. I think most that join it, that go to the nights out, that raise the money, that do all the organisation, they've not morally been challenged. They've not been told. Like, have you heard of my friend Chrissy Morris?
I do recognise the name Chrissy Morris.
Chrissy Morris, he's a bald fella, and he became a counsellor over at Malden District Borough Council a few years ago because he wanted to get inside the system and change it. They booted him out after a couple of years because he was causing them some hell of a hullabaloo because he's got so many people behind him. They all really believed in Chrissy.
Was he an independent?
He was.
Yeah.
His dad was a Freemason, and he said to Chrissy when he was a young lad, he said, I'm going, son, I'm going to the lodge now. And he was kind of preparing Chrissy to follow in his footsteps. Anyway, when he come home, he got his briefcase because they've all got their briefcases with their set squares and their compasses and all that old nonsense in there. And he threw it in the cupboard. He took his tie off, never mentioned it again, never went back to another meeting. Now, obviously, they asked him to do stuff that he weren't morally, happy with. And he said, all right, I'll just walk away. And he just walked away. So it comes down to anything in life. What are you going to tolerate morally? It doesn't matter what it is. You could be a milkman.
What is the price of your soul?
There you go.
Is what it boils down to.
In essence, in a nutshell. Yeah.
But just bear in mind, people, that your soul is godly and it doesn't actually belong to you. It's on loan. So you can't actually sell what isn't yours.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We just had Easter weekend. There's more people being baptized, more people coming back to Christianity. There's groups up and down around the country going out, preaching on the streets, coming together in huge numbers. I mean, the scripture's very sort of pivotal. It says, don't go out and preach on the streets. This is a private thing. This is a journey for yourself to go on and commune with others and get in the spirit. Don't go out screaming and shouting about it on the street. This way you get arrested.
Is within you.
It's inwards. It's not external. It is without a doubt.
It all comes back to the sacred secretion.
It's the triangle. It's the
that,
triangle. Yeah. It's that. It's you. You've got that eye of providence. That's you in the triangle. That's a safe space to be. It really is a safe space to be. And the system operates in triangles. You've got the courts, the police, the councils. That's a triangle.
They're all circuit, isn't it?
They're all operating on a circuit. Yeah. And you've got to be. So let's say you've got a police issue. You've got to say, right, I've got a police issue. That involves local council because I'm registered with the council. I'm on their registrar list. So that's one of them. We've got the police and we've got the courts. Right. So what I need to do is set these up against each other and let me be the little circle. Let me be the eye in the middle of that triangle where I'll become untouchable. And the way you become that is spiritually by knowing and understanding who you truly really are. It really is that simple.
No, it is. It's great. I would love to do ayahuasca. Have you heard of ayahuasca?
No, I don't think I need to do that because I am very aligned anyway. I know people that have done ayahuasca.
I've done DMT, which is just the smokable powder form, which lasts for about 10 minutes.
Yeah. And where did you go?
I didn't have an out-of-body experience. It was just a really, almost like I'd fallen into a kaleidoscope that was breathing.
There you go.
And it was amazing. It was incredible. You can't really describe it. It's not something that you can really say, oh yeah, and then this. But then I've also heard of really bad stories. I heard of one bloke who had a trip, and although the trip only lasted 10 minutes, in that time he had met someone. They had a family, got married, had a family. And so when he woke up, he spent, I think it was honestly, it was 6 months he spent mourning a family that didn't really exist. But for that 12 minutes was like 6 months worth of living or however long. So it can be, you've got to be careful.
I've never felt the need to do any of that because I'm generally
grounded.
All the time grounded and very high vibrational. I can feel energy myself, and someone's actually seen me give off energy, this big light, and I'm like, no, I never. They said, Dave, you just lit up. So I don't need any confirmation in that way of taking anything like that. I just don't, because I know who I am, and I know that not everyone likes me, not everyone and to think that everyone's going to love you in the world, you're foolish. You're going
Yeah,
to
of
have
course
people that
you are.
like you, people that hate you, people that
Mm,
despise you, but you just gotta let that be and park it up. You don't worry about it.
exactly. It's the same with being a YouTuber. You're going to get trolls. You're going to get hates. Especially trolls. I won't give the names because I'm not that low, but trolls who think that they're funny,
Yeah,
and do comedy clubs and stuff, but they're not funny, and they can't even admit their real name. So they'll do videos about me, Vobesy, Mark Steele, and
I
other
know.
thing, and they can't even be honest about who they are.
Well,
So
we're certainly not here to judge anybody, and like I've had my fair share over the years. People have dedicated pages on Google. I just laugh at it because I figure, look, I'm happy, I'm having a good life, um, and I'm really not bothered what anyone thinks, what anyone says. I'm on my path, I'm on my journey, and do you know what? 2025, I'm doing things now that I never thought they'd happen. That just the way that I'm commanding and in my letter writing and I'm talking to people on the phone. I've been on the phone to the bank today saying, listen, I've had enough of this nonsense. We're going to sort this out. And they're going, yeah, 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 yeah. Because I'm immersed in it. I'm in it. I'm not
mm,
tolerating it no more.
that's great.
Well,
That's
why
great.
should
And we
we?
need exactly. And we need more people. It's just about getting over that fear. It's that initial fear, and once you conquer that initial fear, then you become unstoppable.
So everyone's old on to like I'm old boy. I'll be 50. I don't feel my age in any way. So I still feel like I'm in my 20s. I really do. Um, but as a kid, like my mum and dad, we lived in a house. We had nothing. Dad went to work. Mum stayed at home, cooked dinner. We had nothing. No real like luxuries. So if someone had come along and said to my dad, "I'm taking everything you got," he probably would have laughed at him.
Mm.
But now we're in this, and now we've like some people have got Ferraris, BMWs, Porsches, big houses, big mortgages. None of this stuff was on the radar back in the 70s. So now everyone's become like, oh my God, people are going to come and take my house, my cars. And they get so like trapped up with it and caught in it. Who cares? Let them have it.
Fucking in
Listen,
materialism.
if the system's robbing houses, and I hope they choke to death on it. I really do because it makes them evil. A friend of mine in Maidstone recently, in the last couple of months, has had two houses taken from him because he was Britain's most hated man because he got a man out of hospital that wanted to go home, and the hospital were trying to keep him in there against his will. He was splashed across all the newspapers. Anyway, we went to one of the evictions. There was over 350 people there. We stopped the police. They had helicopters up, drones up. It was a funny day. But since then, they've had the two houses and they're ridiculing him. And the police are laughing at him, and the courts are laughing at him, and the mortgage companies are laughing at him. But at no point, Chris, at no point did any of them come along and say, "How can we help you?"
Mm.
Not one policeman, not one court clerk, not one judge, not one anyone from the council ever offered that man any help. So they're now asset stripping us, and we're allowing it, and we've got to stop this because the
Brilliant.
system's there to make us whole. It's not there to rob from us. It's shocking, mate. It's shocking. Not no one.
It is.
I get the fact that people are saying, "Well, he was this, he was that." No problem. I can
Mm.
handle that. But where was the help? The
Exactly.
system was designed to help people.
Yeah. No, it was.
It's shocking. And what you've got now in the mentality of these councils and stuff is it's that they've sort of no, we're above you. You do what we tell you. No, no,
Yeah, well,
no.
this is what we've always said, even when I was campaigning as a Thomas Paine independent candidate.
Wow.
It starts with the people. The people then go to the councils and say, right, this is what we want. The councils then go to the bigger government to say, right, this is what the people have asked for. Can you implement it, please? That's how it should work. But since I guess maybe the Parliament Act, I don't know, now it's the government is shouting down saying, right, no, do this, do this, do this. And the governments pass it on to the parish councils and the town councils and the
Mm.
district councils. So they don't get so much dirt on their hands. It's there you go. You do this, and they get the blame. So the big government is always kind of shielded.
So Parliament says it's sovereign. It's not. The people are sovereign. In the Bill of Rights, which is its opening gambit, it says that the people are sovereign and we do what they say. Right? It says, and we shall not prejudice them. And they've forgotten. They've forgotten. And now councils think, well, actually, we can tell them what to do. We can take their houses. We can take their kids with no due process of law. We can take their cars. We can rob their stuff. We can sell it at police auctions. Because why? Because we've got the weapons. We've got the idiots in uniform that are prepared to go out and do it. And they're part of the problem. The police are a Rottweiler. Yeah. If the councils and the courts never had a Rottweiler to go out without thinking of what they're doing, we would never be in this mess. And sadly, the police, I think the penny is finally dropping. They're realizing we're being used as pawns in this game. It's shocking.
Yeah, well, of course they are.
It's
and
shocking.
Then you've got the media who are the government mouthpieces. So if it wasn't for your BBC News and stuff, the government wouldn't have a voice to broadcast to people.
It would.
So
it would.
Well, yeah, but like newspapers and radio and stuff. But this is why alternative media is so important now.
So you at the BBC, you've got all these others. My mother, I went down and see her Mother's Day a few years ago when the COVID-19 thing was on. Boom, turn the telly off. I went, I can't watch that no more. It's propaganda. I'm like, man, my chin dropped. It hit the floor. I was like, my mother has stopped watching the BBC because it's propaganda. I thought, fair play. So now she takes, when she goes showering, I bought her a laptop, like a Samsung tablet. She goes in, puts it up on the windowsill. She's watching all the YouTube channels. She watches Richard Vogue. She probably watches you. Exactly. Right. So she's in there having a good old laugh.
What's her name?
Linda.
Shout out to Linda. Hello, Linda. I hope you're watching this. Your son's doing marvelous work.
But she does.
Careful in the shower.
Don't trip on your bath mat.
Yeah, don't get too excited watching videos in the shower.
It's funny, isn't it? It's funny. But she does. So she's turned off the mainstream, won't tolerate no more of it, won't write the newspapers. Everybody now is turning off from the mainstream. They've all got their phones, they've all got their devices, they're all plugged in. This is a consciousness unraveling because now they can't be lied to anymore. Now they're getting their information from earthy people that's actually going on in the real world. And most people that I know that message me, send me voice message, they say, Dave, we watch you and we watch others like you. And now we're taking up that baton. It's like a relay. We're picking the baton up and we're running. We're challenging this. They say, we've never felt so alive.
Well, it does. It does. It fills your heart with being, gives you purpose. It does make you feel. I mean, I'm not in it anywhere near as close as you lot.
It doesn't matter.
But I do enjoy reporting on it. But no, I think Mother Earth itself is having a conscious upgrade. Everything is awakening. Everything is becoming more.
Well, you
obvious.
mentioned just a minute ago Thomas Paine,
Mm-hmm.
one of the greatest Englishmen who ever lived, probably close to William the Marshal, Pembroke to King Henry III. William the Marshal was a very good Englishman. So was Thomas Paine. But Thomas Paine, he had to flee the country because of what he was saying and what he was doing. He was causing a stir back
He went
then.
to France and America, didn't he?
He became a founding father in America, I do believe.
And it was him that helped write the American Constitution.
Right. So
taken from the English.
Absolutely. So, we've seen, like, look at, and I say this to a lot of people, you might see people like me as troublemaker. I'm not a troublemaker. I love peace. I like love. I like forgiveness. I love all these things. We had a woman years ago called Emmeline Pankhurst, and she would have been seen at the time when she was promoting the suffragettes. She started off at grassroots. She would have been seen as and portrayed in the media at the time, the newspapers, which was pretty much what it was. as a right royal pain in the arse. But yet, all these years later, there's a statue up of her because of her resolve. She wouldn't stop. She carried on. And I'm going to carry on to the day I die to get my country back and to bring it back for the people. I ain't stopping and I ain't going nowhere.
That's brilliant. So, what is your opinion of the English Constitution? Are you a fan of Graham Moore?
I love Graham, and I've known Graham for a long time. And funny enough,
personally known him or?
Okay,
good.
I know Graham really well. He's a good buddy of mine. Now, I watched your video of him the other day, and I thought, oh man. So I spoke to Graham. I said, bro, I said, it's really interesting that when me and Graham and loads of others used to go out and do what we do years ago, no one sort of took any notice. But now everyone's paying attention and they're interested. They're interested in what Graham's got to say, etc., etc., etc. And he went, yeah, Dave. He said, I'll make you right. He said, it's fabulous. It's a great time to be alive because people now are.
There's a thirst for knowledge. There's a thirst for change.
Constitution, is it for us? It wasn't written for us. It was written purely to limit the powers that be. That's all it was. It put constitutional chains on monarchs, whoever was sat on the throne, whether it's Elizabeth, Charles, whoever. It limits them and it stops them being basically dictators. The king, many years ago, Charles I, he had his head chopped off because he thought he had the divine right to rule. He doesn't. And that was the reason why he had his head chopped off, because people come along and said, no, you can't do what you're doing. Now, the English Constitution is uncodified. It's from the Book of Dom. Alfred the Great pretty much codified a lot of stuff. And he started to get his scribes to basically form the Constitution. That was the Book of Dom. When Alfred, Alfred the greatest king, so he kind of started off with all this Constitution. We've got the Bill of Rights, Petition of Rights, Charter of Liberties. I've studied the Constitution, probably not as hard as Graham, but I've studied it for years. But it's great, provided that you can use it. But I don't think, unless you really push it, like a friend of mine was in the Supreme Court last year, Panny Theo, lovely guy, very passionate man, Panny. And he's trying to say to this woman in the Supreme Court, and she's going, no. And he went, hang on, look up in that glass. What does it say? And she read it verbatim. It said, we shall not deny, delay, or thingy justice, or sell justice. And she just read it. He said, do you understand what you've just read? She went, not really. So I don't think I think the only law that they will tolerate in these courts, if you go into a court today and say, I'm bringing a constitutional challenge, they'll throw you out, get him out of my court, because they're operating in commerce, because of what they did in the 1930s. They sat every judge all around the world and said, listen, the world's going bankrupt. The bankers own everything, and you can stick all that constitutional nonsense up your back. We're now in commerce. And that's what we've been in since 1933, commercial law. That's why you can't win in court. And Cal Washington, the Canadian guy, great. He's just done a lovely podcast with a couple of guys, and they're doing some really good stuff. But Cal, while he was using constitutional, they were throwing him in the slammer. He was getting beaten up. But the minute he worked out it was commerce, and he went in and started bringing commercial arguments and commercial maxims, then the judges were getting up, running out of the courtrooms and leaving him alone. So we're in commerce, Chris. We're in commerce.
Well, the sooner we get out of that fucker, the better. But listen, thank you very much for your time tonight. I've really enjoyed talking with you.
Yeah.
I'm only cutting it short because I know I'm going to get up early.
God bless you.
Thank you so much for your time. Good luck with the private Sanctuary Members Association.
Thank you, Smash.
It needs to work. It deserves to work.
It's gonna.
And everyone, link in the description. Go check it out. be part of the change, because we need some change. But look after yourself. Take care. Speak to you soon. Bye for now.